Alrighty, so let's see how this goes. I was thinking about this, thanks in large part to how photonic transistors have come about. Okay, that and because I've been arguing for this kind of problem to be solved for keyboards and mice and like motherboards, but it's like, they make conductive glass. Okay, like they do. They make both thermally conductive and electrically conductive glass. And it's clear enough that you can use multiple different frequencies of light these days. Although back in the day it wasn't really like that. But I've been arguing it for like a really long time, actually, like over a decade now. And there's a reason for it, because it's like, well, that's a tracer. But it's like I don't need a tracer, technically speaking. What it does is it modulates the pulses of light in the frequency coming in as it goes through. Okay? And what that helps with for transistors is if you happen to coil them and pack them vertically and diagonally the right way, what you get is a tube TV like technology that stores in the field, because electricity is going through it, of memory. And it changes it. And then you can ultimately resonate it and alter how it bounces on the fiber optics that's in the transistor. That allows for you to store memory better, far more memory. It doesn't have to be analog anymore. It's digital finally. You can dynamically change your transistor count. And, of course, that does mean that you lose that space for doing other transisting and processing, okay? Which means you need new programming for that, which nobody usually likes to do. Kind of problem. But the reason why I've been arguing for it is because I want a USB-C that finally can put the throughput, the bandwidth that I want. Like PCIe 5 is like, no, I shall only do this amount of bandwidth. Good. Only this? And Intel's all like, we're going to get glass. Glass is the new substitute. Can you please get thermally conductive glass? Electrically conductive glass the right way, and then like electrically can you please? And it's like, that's because of the cell phone. I was thinking about this whole cell phone kind of business when it comes down to it, because it's like, well, I mean, thermally conductive glass would be great. I have a Samsung S23, right? And it's got Corning Gorilla whatever the fuck glass Victus 2 in the rear, right? And I'm like, I'm actually overheating when I use my phone case, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just stick on a bunch of thermal epoxy with a bunch of like these heat sinks that I found, and they're aluminum, like standard aluminum problems, right? But it's like, well, if I stick them in the right way, I never care about NFC payments. I literally don't care. I hate him. I'm so paranoid about somebody like coming around and trying to steal my shit that way. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that. So then it's like, okay, well, I'll never use that. And if I stick it in between where the other antennas are, what I end up getting is, of course, it still works. Right? And I still have to bend some of the ones around the side to still get some of that screen protection, yada yada business stuff, right? But it works. So it's like, okay, fine. I'm going to have, this is a 12 by 12 millimeter, there's 3 millimeter height, right? And then there's these 9 millimeter by 9 millimeter with a 3 millimeter height. I already got this phone camera, kind of like, screen protector thing, whatever it is. It's a lens protector, another extra lens, right? But it's like, what it does? It adds like another 3 millimeters of height to something that was already there. So it's like, fuck it. I'm a big fan of the aesthetic of the mouse thing that I set up. Set a mouse, phone case. But at the same time, that mouse phone case was a problem, more or less just because it was overheating constantly. And I had a pop-up stand anyways, because, I want a stand. And so I never used the wireless charging to begin with. I just don't care about it. I just care about the Bluetooth and wireless and cell phone signal sent and received. That's all I give a fuck about. And since I can, work around that, then it'll work. And thermal epoxy, turns out, as long as you scratch the surface, is actually pretty good at being able to stay on glass and metallic surfaces. So, not that bad. There's one that's like, well, pretty decent. It's close to Arctic Silver. It's, MG fucking 8329T something. I was looking at, it's like $50 or something. But at the same time, it's like it's a two part epoxy. It cures in like 30 fucking minutes. I was like, oh god, this is my fucking girl. Is this gonna work? I hope so. It's like 12. I had 100 pieces of this. Ships in 1 to 2 months. Ah, fuck. 1 to 2 months, huh? Good old 1 to 2 months. Anyways, I was thinking about it because it's like, well, you know, that's the 12. That's 100 pieces. It's only like for like $8. It's not bad at all. You know, for what it's worth. I would totally wait that amount of time, especially with like the 9 pieces. You know, because I did the work. You know, I went through all the back and I had to do the like surface area calculation, you know, distancing with measuring and all that. And it's like, oh yeah, no, the 9 will definitely fill in the gaps. And then I have 12 still, you know, because it only takes like 60 something to totally fill up the vast majority with the 9mm size to take up the rest. And then it's like, oh, the sides I can bend the 12mm because it sits in the center. You know, if I lay it flat on the back, and then it's like a 3mm above the surface. Right, and so it's like pretty close to effectively just slightly above where the screen is. So it'll be just fine, actually. And it should feel pretty good in the hand. And now it won't really, like, overheat. But the whole point of it was, like, this thing's hot! And they don't make any case that be good at cooling. Bastards! My needs! Anyways, but that's the same thing for like the USB-C that I was thinking about, and the same thing for, you know, what it's worth for both CPU chip design and also like motherboard stuff and keyboard stuff. You know, like keyboard stuff is like, oh, why do I have this key switch that has to be so terribly designed to me? It's like I have to have both the sensor and the laser emitter in each individual key switch. I was like, I don't need that. If I have a fiber optic, I can just do one single LED that splits it and then coherence it on the way, and then it goes from that fiber optic to the one single fucking board, and that's it. And if it's, you know what I mean? If I want to go directly to the motherboard and have it be a fiber optic and it sends it, then it's as fast as it could ever be. Like literally has a direct shot to any calculations on the CPU using a motherboard like that. Same thing with the mouse. You can't get faster than light. Technically you can if you tunnel it, but like, you know, for all intents and purposes you can't, you know. But the reason why I was thinking about it is because it makes qubit systems work a lot better. You can set them up in a photonic qubit system, which is a lot better because you have a lot of electromagnetic frequency to play with because of the way you can set up your coils, the way you can set up your resonance of fields. You know, field programmable gate arrays are great, but field effects are even better. Tube TV technology still works, last I checked. And if you do it the right way, as you fire it through a given proper shape, as it reflects and changes that reflection in frequency, then you get a qubit. But you have to know about phononic resonance. So people, generally speaking, don't know that like phonon, which is the sound wave, but because light is both a dual wave and particle, it means you can absolutely use a wave as a quasi-superposition that collapses for a particle duality split bell curve probability, which means you have a superposition you can force that collapses that you can then detect its change on other fields and the frequency right next to it. But the reason why obviously they're not doing it is because it's like probably hard or something. I don't fucking know, honestly. It doesn't really make sense. Because like they were able to do this like fucking 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I love how Intel's like, no, we're going to get it all glass. And I'm like, I fucking love that. Do that now. Why is this not a thing? We don't even need this to be tiny, tiny, tiny. We're talking qubits that I can still use regular transistor types of gates that can go really fast now altogether. We're talking like 100 nanometer. Oh my god, it's so massive. I also calculate in like terahertz frequencies for you and I. You know what I mean? Like if you were to try and upgrade your silicon to being a terahertz, then like maybe you can get on our level. Like, because otherwise go fuck yourself, basically. That's how fucking far ahead that would be. And then it was like, oh yeah, no, but you know, if you use gases and you resonate them and flow them through a given tube that's fairly small, not in the nanometer range, we're in the micrometer range, you'll still get the same effect. But of course that means you have to keep it within a type of pressure. And we're talking about kind of like a refrigerant, so it's like, if it gases or doesn't, compress it back to semi-fluid, triple point, double point, kind of thing like that. And it changes resultantly how it expands, changes pressure waves and movement. And turns out there's a lot of gases that change via those fields that are around. So, electromagnetic, electrostatic, blah, blah, blah stuff. Nobody really ever gives a shit about any of that stuff, But, fact of the matter is, that's a field that is actually a superposition briefly that then collapses and it changes, and you can measure that effect. That's how that works. So I was like, well, I'll just brute force this to have a resonating, clock cycle fucking qubit that has 3 different fucking detection methods that gives me error correcting constantly, So I was like, well, I'll just keep upgrading my concept more and more and more. I guess nobody will ever see this bullshit, 10 fucking plus years just hoping somebody tries something eventually. Got nowhere! Ow. Why don't you put light in your stuff, man? Like USB-C can now fucking hit massive fucking bandwidth. It can still be conductive, electrically conductive, man. It's a little rant because genuinely it does actually annoy me. It's gotten me to the point where I'm like, there's nothing that stops that at all. And I mean that. It's like, no, my USB-C, it cannot do more than these gigabytes a second. Fuck, bits. But yes, okay. But here, how about petabits? You want to do the petabits? Huh? I'm just saying, you can do the petabits. Now, it's a few more frequencies. You have to get the whole matchy frequency fucking pulsy walsy thing. But now, because it's electrically conductive and you can pulse the electricity through the right way, you ultimately have more control over that, and you don't have to worry about a controller doing all of that extra fucking calculation work, which helps reduce electromagnetic interference noise, because it's in a Faraday cage that you control how Faraday cagey and what's going through it is. As that can be multiple braided fiber optic core. You know what I mean? One big boy and then multiple fucking conductive things. Standard shit. But no. How would you do? I can't imagine how. I'm like, you're a fucking engineer and PhD. You don't know how to do this? Are you fucking with me? Come on, man. You've been doing this for forever with electricity, with DC and AC voltage going across the fucking ocean. Are you insane? I know you can do this. You fucking... What? What lies do you want people to believe about your bullshit again? Come on. Seriously. I hate it. I know that they can do it. But you know why? It's like, there's not enough demand for it. No, bull fucking shit, there's not enough demand. We don't have enough money. No, bullshit, you don't have enough money. You make money hand over fist profit on our asses. Are you kidding me? Well, people might be able to snoop. Oh, be finally unable to be snooped because now everything's an encrypted fucking quantum network thing. Ooh, you wouldn't want that, huh? What's up, NSA, FBI? How you been? How you been, brothers? How you been? Wouldn't want that Snoopy, from your public section 702, was it? Right? Fucking public Wi-Fi just suddenly, or any cell, for that fucking matter. That's fucking terrifying, truthfully. Just suddenly it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm just allowed to spy on you. It's just legal. It's not even getting to how much genuine data that it's like, no, they don't really collect that much. No, they collect a lot more. Everybody that's usually into computers knows about that too. It's terrifying in a lot of ways. And you end up getting into this point where it's like, well, I wouldn't be able to do that now. I'm like, oh, I kind of want that. Considering what I know you're fucking doing over there, dude. You're like, Uyghurs are not so bad because we get money over here from the fucking Chinese. Yeah, but they're helping fucking Russia. Yeah, no, that's not. They can't do anything. That's Ukraine. I hate geopolitics. Geopolitics sucks. It's a lot of problems these days. And I mean that. That's my problem. It's like, no, this would have been done. And in fact, it was like, well, a little bit more bleeding edge back about more than 10 years ago. It certainly isn't anymore. Now we have like attosecond fucking lasers because of the phasing technology that they learned about for frequency, collapse, which is essentially the same thing that we did with freaking pressure waves in thermodynamics. But no, we are quantum. No, you're not allowed to bring that garbage, fucking, what is it with the C word, classical. Oh, you can't do the classical here. That's not allowed. We have to be different. Shut up. It's the same. You're even using practically exactingly the same fucking math, but now with probability sections. It's the same plus minus everything else, but like, now you just have probability curves for where you input your fucking mathematics. For your number. Like, I'm so over it. It's like, this is stupid. Your little wave function is a probability wave function. And then you're like, yeah, but this wave function then goes into another wave, probability function. Oh, so it's recursive. Really? You don't say. Look at me. It's likelier to be like 98% this. And so you basically do the same chaos theory mathematics that the fucking weather guys do, huh? Shocker! Fuck you, dude. But we're special. We're nice. We're cool. We're the best guys, I'm fucking tired of it. It's always annoying after a bit. Gets to me. It does. It's like, no. I know for a fact it's the same. Your math is genuinely so fucking much the same. It's insane. But it's like, no, I don't like to think that it is. And it's like, yeah, I know why. Because you don't want that to be a part of your stuff. As it would definitely bridge a bunch of fucking gaps. And it would take a fucking lot of work to change how it is you conceptualize and believe effectively a large percentage of what's around you happens to be. And a lot of people don't like that. But, actual mathematic people, people with PhDs, learning, all that are involved in that. I'm just an enthusiast. I just enjoy this stuff. Know what I'm talking about, for what it's worth. It's like, no, that's literally what that is. Yeah, it's not much of it. It's but I like easy math. Everybody loves easy math. Make it easier. Nobody hates bad, fucking hard, fucking complicated math. God, I hate hard math. No one likes that shit. You know what I mean? But for what it's worth, it is working out that way, but then it's like, no, because like technically relativity, quantum relativity to one wave functional self, as it tends to like do as its own resonance as we get smaller, of course it means that it's imparting a given pressure wave outward and then collapses as it moves up. That kind of thing is just like a wiggle and jiggle on a fucking sine wave, if you want to think about it like that. But then you have also side and tertiary, and then like big ol', areas of effect, kind of like D&D or some whatever the fuck you want to call it. But those are the blobby creatures. They're quasi-virtuals. They're the ghosties. Whatever, bro. It's a probability cloud, but fucking whatever, dude. Whatever you want to call it, man. As long as you can ultimately describe it properly. Jeez. But no. I mean, it won't be Faraday caged enough with my electrically conductive and Faraday cage heat spreader thing, cooler or whatever. To barely put much electricity through to make these effects happen with photons. It's so obviously way harder. So much more electricity. So much more. It's so large, the amount. We've never done anything like that. Walk off the fucking camera screen. No, but it is. I mean, you're talking about small, tiny little things. You don't get it, do you? It's like, it's really far more efficient the moment you get it into a small little form factor. Like even a nanometer, in the 100 nanometer or like even a micrometer alone gets you into a point where it's like, actually, because of the way that light goes through, you need really small amounts of electricity because it's already conductive, and you can change that as an AC and DC and input sine wave, square wave, voltage as it goes through just set it up the right way. You need electrical engineering a little bit, but you also need computational engineering. You need some of the the photonic or the quantum probability physics nerds over here, and you can some math. It's like almost like you need several different PhDs. You guys don't have multiple people you employ? What the fuck is this? You can't do this, huh? Why not? It makes no sense. Just calling you out. The only reason why I was talking about it is because I was thinking about it for keyboards, and one thing led to another, and I started ranting. I was like, fuck it, I'll just record it. So, suck my dick and balls. Hit that like and subscribe. See you later. Notification, share, blah blah.